السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله الذي كان موجودا قبل حدوث الأشياء ويبقى بعد فناء الأشياء، تفرد بالأولية والقدم ووسم كل شيء ما عداه بالفناء والعدم، كما قال عز شأنه: كل شيء هالك إلا وجهه وكل نفس ذائقة الموت، وقال كل من عليها فان ويبقى وجه ربك ذو الجلال والإكرام. والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنام، سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين، ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد، فقد قال الله سبحانه تبارك وتعالى في كتابه الكريم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ومن يعظم شعائر الله فإنها من تقوى القلوب. صلوات. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent all those prophets and messengers for the guidance of human being, starting from Adam to the last prophet, Khatim al-Nabiyyin sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And the purpose of sending all these prophets is to teach and to guide the humanity towards the right path. And the right path is to establish justice on earth, as Quran has described and prescribed in several ayat. To establish justice. But whenever a representative of good raised his voice, there always been someone who represented the evil. So starting from Adam, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala announced the khilafat and vicegerency of Adam, and he was made by him, he said, I am going to make a khalifa, me, myself, and everyone has to bow down in respect for him. All the angels did obey the command of Allah, but there was one who called Iblis. His name was originally Iblis, the Satan. He refused to bow down to God's vicegerent on earth. This was the first conflict between good and evil. And it continued, and it is continuing until now. And there were several battles took place in the history between good and evil. Good represents humanity. Good represents justice, peace. Good represents God. Good represents freedom for human being. Good, of course, is good. So it represents anything which is good. But those who represent good, who are they? They are the people who really proved in their life that they are just people. Anybody who is just, if you become a just person, you will be good and you will represent good. The only thing you need to be just. That's why justice is one of the essence of Islamic creed, or it is the essence. Maybe I can say that this is the only essence. The first and foremost is justice, even for God. God is just. So oneness is based on justice. Prophethood is based on justice. Islam is based on justice. Our character should be based on justice. Our creed, our faith should be based on justice. Everything is justice. So if you are a just person, you represent good. But unfortunately, there are people who apparently they are human beings, but they go against justice. You see in the history what happened always. They go against justice. And until now, you see such people who go against justice. But if you want to speak for justice, against injustice, it's not that easy. It needs some sacrifice. And we see all the prophets, all the good people have offered their sacrifice for the sake of humanity in support of justice against injustice. And the peak of these battles was the Battle of Karbala, when Imam Hussein, the grandson of the Prophet, he stood up against injustice, against Yazid, who was a tyrant, very brutal tyrant, and he did everything which any human being will consider it as something wrong. Not just religiously he was doing wrong, not just based on Islamic creed and faith he was doing wrong. He was doing everything wrong which any human being will consider it as a human values wrong. And Imam Hussein alayhi salam refused to bow down to him. Imam Hussein refused to pay oath of allegiance to him. So Imam Hussein was representing not just Islam, he was representing humanity at large. He was the savior of humanity. He was the rescuer of human values. He was the advocate of human freedom. But he had to pay some price for that, and he did. His sacrifice, Imam Hussein's sacrifice, is one of the greatest, or we can say the greatest sacrifice of human history for human being. And see the beauty of his mission, how he started his mission. Why I'm emphasizing on this, that he is not for Muslims only, he is for human being. Unfortunately, people don't know him. As one of the poets, Josh Malibadi in Urdu, he said, इंसान को बेदार तो हो लेने दो, हर कौम पुकारेगी हमारे हैं उसे. Let human being awaken. Let them awake. They are sleeping. Let them awake. Whenever they awake, everyone and every nation will claim that Hussein belongs to us. So if someone or a nation is not claiming that Hussein belongs to us, it means they have no idea who is Hussein. Let them awaken. So Imam Hussein is for all human beings. Look the situation in which he raised the voice of justice against injustice. A tyrant Yazid, who was a killer, who was a murderer, who was anything evil you can think, he was doing it. And unfortunately, he was doing it in the name of Islam. And this is going on until now. If somebody commits a crime, and this effects of the crime remains to him, confined to him himself, it is a crime, but not that big crime, as if it is committed in the name of a religion, any religion, and especially Islam. So see, the people until now, they are committing so brutal acts and crimes in the name of Islam. Yazid represents all these people in the history who are evil. I'm not saying it because I'm a Muslim. No, I'm saying it because I'm a human being. See the history. Unfortunately, he was claiming to be Khalifa of Rasulullah. Caliph. Have you heard today? Someone is claiming to be Caliph of Rasulullah. Khilafat. The same thing was there. He also was claiming to be Khalifa. Everybody, almost everyone, paid oath of allegiance to him, which means supporting him. Support. Yes, fine. Whatever Yazid is doing is fine. But Imam Hussein said, no, I'm not going to pay oath of allegiance. I'm not going to do the bay'ah. And he refused. And then he offered all his sacrifice. Look how he started his mission, as I said, with a very clear message to everyone that he is leaving his hometown, Medina. He said it in his will. إني لم أخرج أشرا ولا بطرا ولا ظالما ولا مفسدا. I'm not leaving my hometown and raising against Yazid. Not for a personal reason, not for fame, not for mischief, neither for injustice. Rather, I want وإنما خرجت لطلب الإصلاح في أمة جدي. I am leaving this hometown to seek goodness for my nation of my grandfather. So he did this. He took the children with him, women with him, practically showing that he is not going for a war or for a battle, not at all. And in Karbala, whatever happened, it is a history, and he was killed with all the children, including 6-month baby. Today also, many babies are being killed. Of course, everybody will condemn such killings. But this happened there knowingly. Today, if somebody, kills the baby, nobody says, I killed the baby. Says, no, this happened suddenly. I was not intending to kill baby. I was killing other people or the soldiers who were hiding there, and the baby was killed, unintentionally. But Yazidi forces, they did it intentional. This is the difference between this event and other events that take place in the world. So nobody should compare these two. So with full brutality, Imam Hussein was killed. He had a mission. He was grandson of Rasulullah, and he explained that why he is offering this great sacrifice. And it happened in 10th of Muharram, which is approaching. When he was killed, now, of course, he rescued Islam from Yazid. Otherwise, what Yazid was doing, after a while, you would not even hear the name of Islam. Islam would become a history. That somebody, came and he claimed to be a prophet, and he said there is a religion called Islam. Now it's finished. There is no Islam. But Imam Hussein alayhi salam, through his sacrifice, he saved Islam today. But unfortunately, there are people until now claiming to be Muslims like Yazid and the army of Yazid, and they are doing such things that giving bad name to Islam. Also, unfortunately, we don't have voice to tell the people in the world that, look, they are not Muslims. Don't look to them. They have done it even before. And until now, they are doing the same. So they are not followers of Rasulullah. They are not followers of true Islam. They are followers of Yazid and Muawiyah and those, Bani Umayyah, who were brutal tyrants, nothing to do with Islam. But we cannot make our voice reach to general people. Every time you hear here and there some acts of terrorism, people are doing it. And the media, of course, media has a role to play in this, to exaggerate the issues. And someone happened to be a Muslim or converted Muslim, or I don't know really he was converted or not, and they attach it to Islam suddenly to make issues more complicated. Unfortunately, everything. Justice is the base and essence. Whenever you speak, whenever you are, and especially in the media, you have to speak the truth. Otherwise, it will cause so much damage to the society. Anyway, Muharram is approaching. We remember that sacrifice to remind ourselves that, look, who was Imam Hussein? Imam Hussein's mission and his message is that if even you become oppressed, don't be oppressor. Period. Somebody who follows Islam, he can in no point be oppressor. Unjust. Never. He cannot be. Even if other people are doing injustice with him, in return, in retaliation, he cannot commit any injustice. This is his message. So being oppressed is not bad. Being oppressor is bad. So we commemorate his sacrifice. But there are some other people who say, why you commemorate this event? This event happened in the history, is gone, everything is over. Why should you remember it now? Look, we remember it now to the same reason for what Imam Hussein alayhi salam has offered his sacrifice at that point, at that time. Today, not just we, every human being needs Hussein and needs his message in this world. And we commemorate his sacrifice to remember him and his message. Some people say, no, this may be, of course, among Muslims, there are some Muslims who are against this kind of commemorations. Some of them, many of them, they have no knowledge while they are talking against these rituals of commemoration of Aza, what we call it. They have no idea what they are talking about. They heard from somebody, this is bid'at, this is wrong, this is why it is wrong. Nobody will say that if you remember a hero in the history who offered a sacrifice for the sake of the community and the nation and the humanity, don't remember him. Who will say don't remember him? The one who was responsible for his killing and the killing of the children. So the zalim and oppressor is scared of such kind of commemorations. Otherwise, regular people will never say, don't do it. Then if you say, no, it happened, the history is gone, it's finished, then what you do Hajj? Why you perform this Hajj pilgrimage? What is this? Hajj is also nothing but a memory of sacrifice of one father of his son. While this sacrifice did not took place literally, it was just based on intention. His intention was accepted by God. God gave him instructions to slaughter his son. Of course, God is not going to give such an order, but it was a test. and he passed the test. He just got ready to sacrifice his son. He did not slaughter him, literally, as I said. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rescued the son. But he said, قَدْ صَدَّقْتَ الرُّؤْيَا إِنَّا كَذَلِكَ نَجْزِي الْمُحْسِنِينَ. He obeyed the orders of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And from that time until now, every human being, generally Muslims, are going for the pilgrimage. But Quran is calling for nas. Lillahi ala nasi hajjul bayt. So for nas, for people should remember his sacrifice, which never happened. It was just an intention of sacrifice, not literal sacrifice. So why then Muslims every year should go for Hajj? If it is gone, is happened, is over. All the rituals of Hajj are nothing but memories and commemoration of that particular sacrifice. And even Eid. What is Eid? The day of Eid. 10th of Dhul Hijjah is considered Eid, a festival for Muslims. No one will deny it. Eidul Adha. There are two Eid, two festivals. Eidul Fitr, Eidul Adha. So Eidul Adha is one of the Eids for Muslims. Why you commemorate this Eid? Why this is Eid? No, we have to remember this sacrifice. If you remember this sacrifice, how about the sacrifice in Karbala, which is even greater sacrifice, and greater in literally greater. It is not we are saying it is greater sacrifice. Quran is saying by itself, when Ibrahim alayhi salam, he was ready to slaughter his son, and he literally put the knife on the neck of his son. At that moment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saved him, saved Ismail. This is the history. It is in the Bible also. And it is in Quran. Allah saved him and he sent a sheep. And this sheep was killed in his place. So he was rescued. When he was rescued, so this is a sacrifice. Allah said, وَفَدَيْنَاهُ بِذِبْحٍ عَظِيمٍ. We are rescuing this Ismail so that we can postpone this sacrifice to a greater sacrifice. Postpone this sacrifice to a greater sacrifice. So what is the greater sacrifice? ذِبْحٍ عَظِيمٍ. So greater sacrifice, some people said that sheep was greater sacrifice. Doesn't make any sense. How can the sheep be greater than a prophet, Ismail? How can a sheep be greater than son of Ibrahim? Then what is greater? So simple. Look, many things, or I can say 99% of issues in Islam can be comprehended by just using your common sense. Use your common sense or you will understand everything simply. Greater means better, right? Greater. So greater sacrifice can apply only, this word can apply only when someone who is offering the sacrifice and the sacrifice which is being offered, both should be greater than these two individuals. Ibrahim was offering the sacrifice. Ismail was the sacrifice. So the one who is offering sacrifice should be greater than Ibrahim. And of course, he is Rasulullah, nobody else. He is the last prophet, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He is for sure greater than Ibrahim. And the one which was offered as a sacrifice, he was Ismail. And no one can be greater than him but Imam Hussein, the son of Rasulullah himself. It's so simple to understand, right? Now when it is greater sacrifice, how come a Muslim remembers that sacrifice of Ibrahim and Ismail and he forgets this sacrifice which is greater sacrifice? And they ask us, why you remember this sacrifice? We ask Muslims, why don't you remember this sacrifice? At least the Muslims. They say no, because it is not wajib, it is not obligatory. Yes, this is true. It's not obligatory in that meaning, as salat is obligatory. Allah did not say you have to offer this. No, He didn't say this. Yeah, I agree. But if He didn't say, it means this is not important. It could be more important. That's why Allah did not say come and do it. Yeah, many times when something is not wajib, it has more rewards than wajib. Like salam. When you do salam, it has one reward. When you do salam, it has 70 reward because it is not wajib. But when you answer, when you reply, and it is wajib, you get one salam, one reward. There are so many more examples, but here I'll say why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not call people for doing this azah to remember this sacrifice and commemorate this sacrifice. Because this is again so simple. Use the common sense and you understand the difference. In the case of this sacrifice which took place on 10th of Dhul Hijjah, the difference between this and the sacrifice which took place in 10th of Muharram is that in the first one, it did not take place literally. Allah saved Ismail and gave them reward for their intentions. In the case of Karbala and the 10th of Muharram, it took place literally. And Allah accepted that sacrifice. In first situation, it is kind of an occasion of joy that Ismail was not slaughtered. He was saved. So it's a happy occasion. That's why you commemorate, you remember it as a Eid, not as a commemoration, as a Eid. Why? Because it's a happy occasion. In the day of Ashura, Imam Hussein was killed with 72 of his companions in the worst brutal way anybody can even imagine. It was a sad event, and that was a happy event. So the first sacrifice of Ibrahim and Ismail is a happy event. That's why you call it Eid. The Karbala event, 10th of Muharram, Ashura, is a sad event. Do you know the difference between happy event and sad event? In happy event, if you have any happy event, you call people. You send them invitations. If you don't call them, if you don't invite them, nobody will come and attend your happy occasion. No one will come, no. They will ask you for invitation. But in sad event, if somebody has, a marriage of his son, no one will come to attend the marriage unless the person is invited. Otherwise, nobody will come. Because it's a happy occasion. But in sad event, if his son dies, let's say, nobody will say, I'm not going to go in his funeral because his father didn't invite me. Nobody will say that. Say, no, I just need information, not invitation. I came to know that this guy, his son died. I'm going to go in his funeral. I'm going to go and console him. This is the difference between these two events. Why Allah made it wajib to do Hajj and remember the event of Ismail and Ibrahim? Because that event is a happy event. So Allah is inviting everyone to come. But in day of Ashura is a sad event. Allah left it on the love and affection of everybody. How much somebody feels closer to Rasulullah, I leave it on him. Now it is a sad event, just you will get informed that this happened. No invitation. So that's why first one is wajib and second one is not wajib. But this which is not wajib is more important, because now it depends on your love and your affection and your connection and your relationship to Rasulullah himself. Why? Because his son was died, his son was killed in Karbala. So anybody who has any kind of relationship with Rasulullah, for sure he will go and show his sympathy to him. Right? He say, okay, we are with you, Ya Rasulullah, and we are sad because you are sad. It doesn't need any invitation. So if somebody says it is not wajib, yeah, it is not wajib because it's more important. It shows your status and your iman and your grades of your faith. It shows. The more you show your, love to Imam Hussein, the more you show your closeness to Rasulullah. So people ask, why you cry in Muharram? Okay, fine, why you cry? Look, if you see two people, two brothers in a funeral, one is crying and one is not crying. People ask, who are these two? They said they are the son of deceased. Both of them are sons? Yeah. So one is crying, one is not crying. Tell me, who are people going to ask? The one who is crying, that why you are crying? Why he is crying? Or they are going to ask why he is not crying while he is also son of the deceased. So now people are coming and asking us why you are crying. People should ask the people who are not crying. What is wrong with the other guy who is not crying? While he claiming the same thing as he is claiming that I am son of this deceased. I have this relationship with this person who died. So brothers and sisters, Muharram is approaching. It's a great opportunity for us to show our love and affection and relationship with the Prophet of Islam and to real Islam and to the message of Hussein, the message of Islam, message of peace, message of justice, message of freedom, message of humanity, message of morality, message of ethics, message of true creed and faith. This is the message of Hussein alayhi salam. And we remember it. That's why you will see that the followers of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, they cannot be brutal, they cannot be unjust, they cannot be killers, they cannot be murderers. Not at all. They can be killed, it's fine. But we can defend ourselves, but we cannot go and be offensive and kill some people for no reason. Why? Because we follow Hussein alayhi salam. Hussein is the symbol of peace. This name is the symbol of humanity. And these days which are approaching, these days are not just days of mourning, as some people call it, days of mourning. No, they are days of mourning, but they are days of seeking knowledge and increasing in recognition of real Islam more than being just sad days. Of course they are sad because, as I said, we feel the love to Imam Hussein alayhi salam. That's why we feel sad in this such sad event. But originally, a scholar, when he goes to the pulpit, he starts with ayah. So he is speaking about tafsir, he speaks about history, he speaks about Islamic laws, he speaks about Islamic creed, he speaks about Islamic history. So he covers all the subjects needed for the society. And so this is a great opportunity for us, and we should ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us opportunity and ability to increase in our knowledge to true Islam, and to increase our knowledge to the message of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and to apply his message of peace and justice on our lives. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala count us among the followers of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. إن أحسن الحديث وأبلغ الموعظة كتاب الله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر.